Okay, so I'm just trying to do a test fitment on my power steering pump. We opted to not upgrade the power steering pump on the 29 and 2010 Challengers. It's a little weird because they have a hydraulic power steering pump, as later years they went to an electric system. So upgrading to an electric system would be kind of a hassle and cause us some more problems. We did find out that there were years of the 6.4 Hemis that did have the hydraulic steering pump for a few years, so we could have done that and tried to upgrade to a 6.4 one. But just with how it's installed, like how it's mounted, we figured that we could probably shim it out. And if we shim it, then we could probably get our belt to line up right without having to buy new parts, just retain the old power steering pump. So right now I'm just kind of test fitting that off the bracket, seeing what I'm going to need to try to shim this and make it so that my pulleys align. So I'll show you here in a sec exactly what I'm looking at and kind of what the spacing's like. Okay, so right now, as you can see, I've got this big gap here, right? So my bolt's just barely threaded on, and I've got this gap. Normally this is tight against this plate, but if you want to look at here, because we want this pulley here to line up with this guy here. Right now it's not terrible. If I pull it just like that, we get a really good alignment. So I know that I've got to shim it that much to be able to retain this old power steering pump. Then I don't have to buy new parts, and this should work just fine. I think I'm going to use some 3/4 inch tubing, because that way I can easily cut it to the size I need, which looks like it's something like 5/8 of an inch, something like that would work. But I'll get an exact measurement, get some tubing, cut that up, and that should get us perfectly in line. And here is the final. You can see right there, I've got aluminum tubing because I didn't want to worry about any kind of corrosion or rust, so aluminum will give us that protection. And yeah, just cut is roughly about 5/8. Same deal on this side, roughly about 5/8. And yeah, 3 of those guys. Now we've got our pulleys perfectly in a line. Saved a fair bit of money, not having to try to get an entire new system for our power steering, converting it to electric, so that was a huge win. Anywhere I can save money on this build is a plus. Okay, so the inside of this cover was pretty dirty with oil kind of caked on, so the nice thing is we can get most of that stuff off with our very favorite thing in the world, brake clean. It's great for cleaning up oily crap like this. That'll be nice and clean. Give this cover a completely fresh start. Okay, so where the bypass valve ends up threading in, this spot here, this stupid O-ring, my God. So as we know, the kit, or this supercharger, did not come with one from the guy that I bought it off of. Unfortunately, kind of sucked. So trying to source one out, this part number, this took me forever to source out, but not only that, it cost an absolutely obscene amount of money. It actually almost makes me sick thinking about how much I spent for this one tiny little piece of rubber. Absolutely ridiculous. Like, I was very tempted to almost just plug this whole thing with RTV and call it good. But I bit the bullet. I got the actual O-ring, and we'll put that in, and we'll just forget about ever having paid for it, ever. And we finally got this lid gasket, which finally came in from John Bond Performance. So that's great. We can use that to throw the lid on. And we have these little, those are my brand new bushings for inside that snout. So I got new bushings plus the new lid gasket. So all the important parts of the supercharger are going to be brand new, which is great. Ooh, this is going to be tough. I'm going to have to thread, definitely going to have to thread some screws on and then pivot and get the other side. It's going to be the best way to make this work. Just slip that gasket right where we need it. Lining up that gasket's going to be slightly annoying, for sure. Okay, now that I've got all the bolts set in, now it's time to actually torque them. So all these are designed for 7 foot-pounds. That's it. Not a lot of torque on these ones. In fact, a lot of Hellcat supercharger owners note that over time, sometimes these bolts actually come loose on them. I've seen in several forums where they're missing bolts, or they take it in for an oil change or something, and the techs have noticed that their bolts are loose. Not a lot of pressure on these ones, so it's important not to over-tighten them. They do also have a torque spec, and I don't know how well you can see that. Maybe not well at all. Basically, they do have a torque spec, so basically it is 1, 2, 3, then 4, then 5, and so on and so forth. I'll actually post a picture of this if you guys want, because just explaining this on camera is kind of weird. But that's what we're going to do. Torque these guys down to 7 in the right sequence, so this guy is torqued properly, and then this lid will be complete, which is great. That's 7, and then 2, same deal. Oh, easy. Stupid torques. Yep. 3 is going to be this guy. Come on. Last one. Hell yeah. Okay. The lid is torqued down. Okay, now we'll try to mount our reservoir tank. So like so. This guy fits on there pretty beautifully. Like so. Very cool. Now the tough thing is trying to get in there to torque that down. It's definitely gonna have to be wrenches after this, 100%. Cool. That's one. Okay, so one of the things that you do need for this kit is this guy. This is an idler pulley adapter bracket. So it's kind of confusing. There's zero direction from MMX's website when you order this stuff, so it's tough to figure out. Thank God Crash and Burn has a good tutorial on his website. So basically what you're going to want to do is these bolts. This one here, this top guy, and then this bottom guy here is where this ends up bolting in. So this guy ends up being, let's see, this way. That guy bolts there. Yeah, that guy bolts there. This one bolts here. And then this guy bolts here. And then the two pulleys go in the remaining holes. So that is roughly how that guy fits. Now you know.
If we should torque that up, maybe.
Should tighten it a little, probably. Even a couple quick little blasts is probably not a terrible idea. It's probably enough that we can.
Oh, that must be bigger. 22.
It does look like it, eh? Always got to throw a curveball.
That's right. Can't be simple.
No, man. Everything is a curveball. I think we had to do that for like an axle or some shit, did we?
Yeah.
So I didn't realize, but when you pin the crank, you're not actually pinning it to something else. What you're doing is just putting a pin right at the edge where the two of them meet. And that basically stops the crank from being able to spin. Because just that little half of a pin going between the crank and the harmonic balancer is enough that it will not be able to spin loose, even under super high boost. Just set this manually for a quick sec. Yerp. And then we'll get that over.